Hello, Huskers. I'm Dr. Brett Haskell, the Director of Sport Psychology at the University of Nebraska. We know many of you are experiencing radical lifestyle changes that may feel disorienting, confusing, or even scary. While this time is likely disruptive to your physical and technical training, it may actually be a perfect environment to train your brain. Mental toughness is the ability to be resilient, responsive, and flexible in the face of adversity. To get better at this, we need opportunities to practice responding to stress in new ways, to teach our brains how to thrive under pressure. Right now, the changes in your life caused by COVID-19 may feel like a crisis, while at other times a poor performance, a difficult week of practice, or a major game mistake can also feel like a crisis to your brain. What happens to our brains due to fear and worry about a pandemic is not entirely different than what happens to our brain when we have a bad performance and experience worry or fear about losing our starting spot or disappointing our coach. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to bring you a series of 4 videos to teach you skills for surviving and thriving in a crisis. Hopefully, this will help you immediately cope with the many challenges in your life due to COVID-19, and in the future will improve your ability to respond to pressure in your sport with resilience and flexibility. Our series will enable you to shift from coping with feelings of struggle into attitudes and behaviors that promote thriving. Today, we will start by teaching you a little bit about how your brain is built to respond to stress so that you can learn how to hack your brain to improve that response. Let's start by making a ball with your fist and holding it up next to your ear, just like this. Imagine that your brain is inside your skull like this. Now bring your brain down a little closer so that you can take a look. Your wrist and arm here are part of the brain that we call the brainstem and spinal cord. The brainstem is critical for mobilizing the body quickly during times of danger to ensure your survival. Now, if you lift your fingers straight up just like this, in the middle of your brain, you will find this region called the limbic system, or your emotion center. And this includes an area called the amygdala. It's kind of right here where your thumb knuckle is. The amygdala is the brain's alarm system or threat detector. It constantly scans the environment and your body's reactions to determine if a potential threat exists, and then it quickly communicates down to the brainstem that mobilization or fight or flight are necessary. Now, place your fingers back over your thumb. The outside of these fingers is what we call the cerebral cortex. The cortex is responsible for many things, but a brief summary is that this is where information is perceived, produced, and responded to. Finally, I want you to notice the fingernails on your middle and ring fingers. These are where your prefrontal cortex is located. This part of the brain is responsible for planning and decision-making. So what does this have to do with responding to a crisis? Well, as you might imagine, in a crisis, your amygdala, or the alarm system, will perceive all kinds of danger signals like changes in your sleep, changes in your eating, or new worried thoughts or fears. As more and more threats are identified, our amygdala begins to heat up and prepare to protect us. I want you to imagine in your balled fist here that your thumb begins to heat up, becoming red and angry. Notice how that red, hot, angry thumb is touching everything else in your brain. When this happens, we can feel like we're in a perpetual state of crisis. We call this an amygdala hijack because when we are in a really stressful situation, our amygdala takes the decision-making part of our brain offline and begins to mobilize our body to either run or fight the threat. 1,500 physiological changes take place in our bodies, and our ability to make rational, fluid decisions or to change our behavior quickly and flexibly, like we might need to in a sport environment, becomes almost impossible. In sport, we often call this choking. Right now, you might be wondering, have I experienced this? If you have, you might have noticed some of these changes to your thinking, behavior, or body sensations. You don't sleep as well, you lose your appetite, you get tired faster than you think you should when competing or practicing, you make impulsive decisions when performing that you normally wouldn't. Your thoughts about your performance or abilities are more negative and self-critical than usual. You feel sick to your stomach for no identifiable reason. You become irritable, want to fight other people, or get angry at people you normally wouldn't. You find it difficult to breathe, or you feel like you have a heavy weight on your chest. You overanalyze every play, replaying mistakes in your head over and over, or you stop enjoying playing altogether. At this point, you may also be thinking, sure, I've experienced that, but how do I stop my brain from doing this? And this is the point of our whole 4-part series. Today, we will talk about 2 specific strategies. One, to prevent the amygdala from overreacting, and the second, to calm it down when the alarm bells go off. In the following 3 weeks, we will talk about additional strategies that either address prevention or crisis response. Different strategies work better for different people. We encourage you to practice each of these for a week to find out what your brain responds best to.